Hey everybody, welcome back to Tim Travels. It's Terry, your host. So I'm here in the truck wash, the truck-o-mat here in Salt Lake City. So anyway, real quick, for our friends at Freymiller, I talked about them, the other day, but there's a company called Land Air. Now, this is not the Land Air that you see that like driving all over the country. This is a Vermont-based, Williston, Vermont-based LTL carrier. They're one of the biggest LTL carriers in the Northeast. They had 125 drivers and I think about 148 power units. But guess what? They're closed, and they closed that fast. Like, drivers came in to work, went to their trucks, and found out the company was shut down because they couldn't log on to their hours of service logs. They couldn't log into the truck. But guess who owns this company? Guess who owns a majority of the equity in it? Yeah, that's right, a private equity firm. Not the one that invested in Freymiller, but nonetheless, private equity. They squeeze till there's nothing left, and then they close the company. This company did not even file a WARN Act notice, which is required under Vermont law for any company that has over 50 employees. If you're not familiar with WARN Act, it basically says that when you have a company, and it varies by state, but 50, sometimes it's 100, 150 employees, but when you're contemplating laying off, or at least whatever that threshold number is, or closing the company, you have a legal obligation to notify the state that that's going to happen, because of, when you have a big layoff, then all of a sudden you have a gazillion people unemployed and everybody going and trying to get help right away. Private equity, it's the death. It's the beginning of a death spiral for any trucking company. Like, I just can't imagine working at any company where they say, oh, hey, we're going to do much better now. Private equity invested and bought 51% of the stock in this company. It's never going to end well. And as you could see with this company, when it did end, it was already over and people didn't even know it. It's like the Eddie Murphy. I think Eddie Murphy used to have a joke about, like being on the streets and be like, "You're dead, man. Just lay down. You're dead. You don't even know it yet." Well, that's what happened here. These poor drivers and apparently the salespeople, office staff, they go to work. They didn't even have a job. Like, they should have just slept in that morning because they were already gone. They just didn't know it. So, I mean, it sucks, but it's the nature of the beast. When a company, that's either privately held, all of a sudden takes on an investor that's not a trucker, their name's not on the door, they're not a trucker, they don't work there. Like, this company's in Vermont, that the private equity firm that owned them is in Los Angeles. I bet you almost no one at that private equity firm had ever even stepped foot on the property of that company in Vermont. So anyway, if your company's owned by private equity, best of luck to you. Leave before all the parachutes are taken. Leave before the last lifeboat is filled. That's my advice. So anyway, talk to you soon. Bye.